Been at the high school for 6 years.
How often do you get new books?
We get new books probably 2 or 3 times a year, and some of the books I order through trade journals that I get. I see good reviews for books, and so I decide to buy them. And then some of the books that I purchase are student requests.
What are your responsibilities as a librarian?
Well, one of them is to purchase books for the library and have select books for the space. And then part of my responsibility is teaching library skills, information skills to students. I also have a class of a small class called Media Literacy and Information Literacy, which generally is just for seniors, but juniors can get into it too. And just managing the space, supervising the space. That's in a nutshell what I do.
Do you like being around students?
I do. It's one of the reasons I'm here. Talking to students about what they're reading, or just talking to students about how things are going. And yeah, a lot of good energy.
What's your favorite part of the day?
My favorite part of the day probably is before school and during lunch, because then I get to just kind of mingle and talk to students, and that's always been a pretty positive time.
What's it like working at this library?
This has been a great library. It's pretty new, and the space is just a beautiful space to work. And so, yeah, I just enjoy coming here every day. That's probably it.
Have you ever worked at any other library?
Yeah, I worked at the LaVenture Library for over 10 years, 11 years I think it was. I did 1 year at Washington Elementary's library. And then before that I was a language arts teacher at LaVenture.
Before becoming a librarian, what did you do?
Well, as I said, I was a language arts teacher at LaVenture, but then before that I worked at UPS as a preloader, and then I was in the Air Force.
Do you plan on retiring here at MVHS?
Probably, yeah. I don't see myself leaving MVHS before I retire, so I still have almost 10 years, more than 10 years, 10 years before I can retire. So, yeah, I see that happening here if I can, as long as they let me.